Darren Barker.
And I'm Spencer Oliver.
I'm Sylvester Stallone.
I'm David Hayne.
I'm Clarice.
I'm James DeGale.
I'm Angel Townsend.
I'm Carl Frost.
And
this is The Live Show.
This is The Live Show.
This is The Live Show.
Hello and welcome to the live show. Well, if you missed last week's show, we had a great guest on, England international Joe Cole. Joe was a brilliant guest, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was blinding. He fed us with a bit of cake, then a bit of birthday cake. I think it was his daughter's birthday, so we was fed well. We also, because I was a donut and I boxed for 20 odd years and I'm a little bit punch drunk, I forgot to bring a signed, an England shirt to Joe's house for him to sign to give away as a prize to one of you lucky viewers. But what I did get, we brought a boxing glove with us because we happen to have one handy. So we've got one signed by Joe Cole, and you can see it there. Joe Cole signed glove. So in order to win that today, I mean, we're gonna pick out a viewer, but this time you've got to answer a question, and the question we need you to answer is how many appearances for England did Joe Cole have? How many appearances for England?
So how many caps?
How many appearances did he have for someone 6-1-1-8-1 already? So if you answer the question, how many appearances did he have? We'll pick one out. We'll remind you later on in the show how to do it. But the winner will be picked at the end of the show. But yeah, Joe was a brilliant guest.
Brilliant. Well, listen, let's start off this week's show with the very sad news of Nick Blackwell. Nick Blackwell boxed last week against Chris Eubanks Jr., losing in the 10th round. Thankfully, the doctor stopped the fight. He had a grossly swollen right eye, and the doctor stopped the fight, which effectively really could have saved his life. I mean, Nick, unfortunately, minutes after the fight was stopped, took a turn for the worse, and he was put into an induced coma, and that's where he remains at the moment. So our thoughts and our prayers are with Nick Blackwell, and also our thoughts and prayers are with his family as well. But Darren, wasn't it a tough fight?
It was a tough fight. I mean, I think most would have seen it going that way. Nick Blackwell's a tough young lad. He's been in some hard fights. He never backs away. Doesn't tend to take a back step in the ring, and he put up a great fight. I mean, up until the halfway point, he was a round or two down, and he just, Eubanks Jr.'s class started to show a little bit, and
I mean, let's break the fight down. I mean, he had a good first and second round. He didn't have a bad, and then Eubanks started to work him out. And he was catching him relentlessly with those uppercuts, wasn't he? I think that was the telling shot, those uppercuts. And then Eubank had a massive seventh round. A lot of people felt the fight could have been stopped in that seventh round. But Blackwell, like a true warrior, just kept going on. And never at one point did he look like he was hurt. That was the problem.
The problem.
That's why the referee couldn't stop the fight. Now, I mean, how did you see it there? I mean, he was taking a lot of punishment, wasn't he? And there's now, obviously, after the events that have happened, there's a lot of people, the anti-boxing people, crying for the sport to be banned and whatnot. Or did the referee do a good job or a bad job? Now, in the referee's defence, the referee couldn't stop the fight because not at one point did he look like he'd ever taken. Did he look like he was ever going to go down and get hurt? But he was systematically getting beaten up. That's the argument.
For me, he's the young champion, and the thing is, in boxing, it happens all the time. Your reputation is what the referees remember in fights and what the fans remember. And Nick Blackwell's reputation was a young, tough, aggressive fighter who's always in there. He comes on late in rounds. So if you're the referee and you're looking at the 6th, 7th, 8th round, you're thinking, look, he's taking a bit of a punishment. Not taking loads of clean shots. Don't get me wrong, he was like them short uppercuts inside, but he wasn't taking huge blows.
The problem was he kept coming back with shots, wasn't it? That was the thing. That was the thing that kept him. Just when you thought like the referee might jump in here, he would come back with 2 or 3 shots of his own. Yeah. And that was the problem. That's why the ref couldn't stop it. But thankfully, he got that swelling over the eye, and the doctor intervened and stopped the fight. I mean, that could have saved his life.
100%. I mean, the eye ultimately is what has stopped him from going around, because, like we just said, the referee, I think the referee done the right thing in not stopping the fight. I mean, it's nice, it's easy that we've got hindsight now. We know what's happened.
Yeah.
But like I say, I've seen worse fights than that. I've seen worse beatings. He was all in there. He was throwing back. He took a lot of the gloves, though. A few uppercuts were coming through. But the referee did the right thing in calling the referee, the doctor in. But they had that outlet, don't they? If
Yeah.
there is something, or the fight's close, or he wants to stop it, but he can't quite do it, they can call the doctor in, and they've done the right thing. I mean, I just think it was handled correctly, but obviously what's happened after, the outcome's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing would have happened, I mean, to Nick Blackwell's health afterwards, I don't think there would be any question marks.
No, I agree.
There could have been people saying, "Oh, it could have been stopped," blah blah. But it wouldn't. No one would be screaming and shouting. Exactly, you get it all the time, and
yeah,
it is a shame. But like you say, thoughts and prayers with the family. And I mean, you've been there, Spin. What do you remember from your ordeal and what happened?
Listen, I don't remember anything. I don't remember travelling to the Royal Albert Hall. I got stopped in the 10th round as well. Don't remember anything about it at all, mate. I remember waking up 12 days later in the hospital bed, still thinking I was at the Royal Albert Hall.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of those things. But my situation was that I got caught early in the fight, and as the fight grew on, I got sustained a blood clot to the right side of my brain. Collapsed, taken to the hospital, was operated on to remove the blood clot from the brain. Now, in Nick Blackwell's situation, he's had a bleed to the brain.
Yeah.
But the bleed wasn't bad enough, so the doctors and the neurologists think wasn't bad enough to operate on. So they've kept him in an induced coma, but they haven't operated on him yet. So I think that's good news. I think that's good news. But what he's got to deal with, Darren, is life after boxing. That's the biggest journey. I mean, right now, Nick Blackwell's having the biggest fight of his life. Forget the fight that he had with Chris Eubanks. Forget the fight he had with Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, this fight that he's having right now is the biggest fight of his life. And when he comes round, God willing, please God, he comes round and makes a full recovery. He's going to have to learn to live with. That was the thing that I had a problem with, dealing with life after boxing, because you live, eat, sleep boxing. You know, you've done it. Your life is just revolves around it, and then you need to find direction. And unfortunately, that's going to be the difficult thing for him. And let's hope he can stay involved somehow. Do you know what I mean?
You know, with I don't know, you'll obviously know more than I do. You know, the induced coma. Why is it they do that?
Because basically he's got a little bleed on the brain, but he will have swelling on the brain as well. Now, in my situation, they drilled in to release the pressure.
Too much.
Yeah, bleeding too much. Well, he's got a similar thing, but a smaller bleed. So I would imagine that it's a case of the bleed's not the problem, but he may have slight swelling on the brain, and that's why they've kept him in the coma to stop. It's because when you put into a coma, then it switches the body off, it shuts the body down, and that will prevent any damage. And I assume that that's why they're keeping Nick in an induced coma right now, just to stop any further damage to the brain. And when they're going to bring out, I'm not sure, because they've not released any statements. No, they've kept it very secretive. They didn't want to talk about it. I spoke to Mick Hennessy briefly about it, and he said to me exactly that. He said, Spence, look, I don't really want to talk about things at the moment, just letting you know that he is stable, but we don't want to release any statements yet. So at this time, we want to keep it private and to the family, which is fair enough. You know what I mean? So, I mean, he's in the best hands possible. But yeah, it is what it is. And
you know, like before your fight in the camp, did you feel 100%? Did you feel it? I mean, like, I think same for Blackwood. Do you think would he have felt 100% before? Was there any signs in the training camp that, like, when you were sparring, did you notice anything any different?
I think with me, and I think with the history of fighters that have had these sort of injuries, is that it's all weight related. And I don't know Nick Blackwell's situation, so I'm not going to comment on that. But in my situation, I was starving myself of water, starving myself of food. So, like, your brain needs that fluid to cushion the brain. So when you get dehydrated, your blood vessels in and around the brain lose that elasticity, and you lose the cushioning around the brain as well, because the body's so dehydrated, and hence why these injuries can occur. I've spoke to Michael Watson about this, and it was a similar thing. Michael Watson said he used to struggle like mad. So the history is that I don't know Nick Blackwell's situation. I don't know if he was struggling, but that's generally what happens when a fighter gets injured. That it's down to weight making. And how do we deal with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Could that night and your night, could it have been prevented, do you think?
Well, the problem
or was it inevitable? So if it wouldn't have happened that night, would it have happened in the next fight?
Well, I think the problem is, Darren, as you know, is boxers make weight. So Boxing Board of Control rightly said, look, let's do it 24 hours before now, to give boxers the chance to rehydrate, put the fluids back in the body, because you know what it's like. Even when you was an amateur, you'd be boxing. If you had to make a certain weight, we would all dry out, and then you'd only have a couple of hours to make the weight. So whether if the boxing board didn't even move it to 24 hours before, boxers would still trade down because there's a history of doing that. So I think the board have done the right thing because it's prevented less injuries in the sport by moving it 24 hours before. But I think it's just a case of boxers draining down to make the weight, and this is where these injuries occur. But I mean, we're talking about boxing, that these injuries, they're very few and far between. If you look down the history of sport and injuries in sport, boxing will be right at the bottom.
Yes,
do you know what I'm saying? Boxing will be right at the bottom, and I think the problem.
Consider the nature of the sport.
Absolutely,
as well.
I think the problem is because boxing is a blood sport, a contact sport. The problem is that when a boxer gets injured, you get all these anti-boxing people coming out saying, "What a barbaric sport, ban the sport." But the realization of it is that boxing is probably one of the safest sports with the least injuries than many other sports. I mean, horse riding comes above it, car racing comes above it. So
the deaths, I mean, there isn't many deaths really, is there? I mean, there's injuries, but there is in all sports, like you say. So what do you say if someone who's had an injury like that, to the people who do question whether boxing should be banned or not?
Well, I think that boxing is a freedom to do what you want to do. No one's forcing anyone to do boxing. Everybody's got the right to choose what they want to do. Boxing, a lot of people that get into boxing come from not a great place, and boxing gives them a chance to make something in their lives. Do you know what I mean? And we see it so often. We see kids that are not very well educated. Kids come from rough backgrounds. They move on and they become champions and they make something in their lives. So boxing does more good for people than it does bad. It's just very unfortunate when these injuries happen. It puts boxing into a bad light. But what I would say is, you know, you can't knock the sport for these little injuries that happen from time to time. And I'm talking from experience.
Yeah,
I mean, it give me. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm talking from boxing. Give me a life. We wouldn't be sitting here now doing what we're doing if it wasn't for boxing for me. So you go across the road, you take a chance of getting hit by a car, and that happens occasionally to people. It's a similar thing when you get in the boxing ring. You know, these injuries are going to occur, and it's just one of those unfortunate things.
I know you've been sort of hounded by the press, you know, because you're sort of go-to man, obviously. I mean, I was asked by BBC 5 Live to go in there, and there was sort of tapes of people, recordings of people saying what they think about it. And one bloke said it's barbaric, it should be banned, and that, you know, like. Yeah, they don't understand. Like you say, I chose to do it. No one pushed me into it. And what it's given me, you know, it's given me a fantastic house for my kids. You know, I've got to travel the world through boxing. I've met so many amazing people, and you know, ultimately been able to fend for my kids, and that's all because of boxing. But I chose to do it. I've realised my wildest dream in boxing, and like you say, you go back again with the injuries in sport. There isn't that many, and considering the nature of the sport, it just shows you how good the medical support is in boxing. That there aren't that many deaths. No, absolutely. It sounds nuts that we're talking about deaths and whatever, but it's true. I mean, it could happen in sport, but it does in boxing, but it doesn't because of the medical care that we do have.
I'm reading some of the things that are coming in there. Look, we've got guest 61. Is it 6168?
6118. Well said, Spencer. I thought you picked that one out, did you? Of course. Right, let's go back then. Let's get on these. So, right, we've got someone. Ali Spratt says, right, well, I'm not going to say it in case someone else sees it, but that is the correct answer. But you'll see that. But let's take there's some of these questions. How do you think Eubank Senior got a hold of the situation where the ref did not? I'll answer this quickly, right? Yeah. Because I'm not having a go at anyone here, but it was seen in the corner that Eubank Senior was telling Junior to target the body, not the head. Well, that wasn't to protect Blackwell at all, in my opinion. Yeah. In my opinion, that was sound technical advice from a cornerman. What you usually do in boxing, if you're headhunting all the time and you're having no joy and you're fighting someone tough like Nick Blackwell, the obvious thing to do, especially if you're an experienced coach, is to tell your fighter to go for the body, drop down to the body, and that is exactly what I thought Chris Eubank Senior was doing when I was watching the fight battle. And I remember thinking that's exactly the right fight.
And this is my theory on that, which is a slightly different one, but like I say, this is what everyone thinks. But this is my theory, being the kid that's been there before. Yeah. So, and I know that Chris Eubank Senior, obviously, we remember that memorable fight that he had with Michael Watson, where Michael Watson got injured. Now, I feel that a sixth sense told Chris Eubank Senior when he was in that corner, he saw Nick Blackwell taking a lot of punishment, a hell of a lot of punishment. And I feel that he felt this kid's taking a bit too much punishment.
Oh, you actually did?
I felt that.
Oh, right.
I felt that. And because when he was saying it, he was saying, what's the referee doing? I don't understand why this fight's not being stopped. I truly felt, I was sitting there with Nicola, and I truly felt, I said, he's got a feeling that something's going to happen here. And then what happened actually happened in the fight. But I felt that he felt, because he's been there, and so he felt this kid's taking too much punishment. And he was going, take him out to the body, don't hit that head anymore, he's taking too much punishment. And I maybe because I've been there and I just felt he's got a connection with it because he's been there as well.
Maybe
that's just the way that I felt about it.
How do you think Eubanks have handled the whole situation?
What
since?
Do you know what I thought? That what he said there was because of obviously what had happened. I just thought I've got to commend the man. Do you know what I mean? For what he said there and saying, do not give this kid any more punishment. He felt there was something wrong with the kid, which inevitably turned out there was something wrong with him. So all I can say is salute you for that, because what's happened, that could have saved the kid's life. So what they've done after is neither here or there.
I see one interview. There's a reporter, an absolute idiot, and he asked Junior. They were both sat together. What would you rather, Nick Blackwell's health or your title? It's some mad question. Straight away, Junior jumps in and said, "That's not fair."
That's a liberty. It's a complete liberty. I think that Eubanks Senior has been through it, and he never boxed the same again after the Michael Watson thing. You saw him backing off all the time. It definitely affected him, and I felt that it affected him in that fight as well. That he could see that, and it's. I mean, how ironic is that? It happens to father and son.
Man,
lightning never strikes twice. I mean, it happened there. It is absolutely unbelievable. But let's pick up some more of these little questions here people are asking.
Do you think Chris Eubanks Jr. was fighting with more intensity and menace because he wanted to make a statement to Billy Joe? Ali Spratt, that is.
Well, I just thought that he just looks like an improved fighter to me. I just think that he's going from strength to strength. If I'm honest, I think
he did, Ali. Yeah. If I'm honest, I think he did, because there was a lot of, he was sticking the belt in. Before. He was winding him up. He was there. I think he was. And then we apologise. Billy was supposed to come on the show tonight, but he couldn't make it. Just for
it was a lastminute.com letdown there, which was unfortunately he had other ties, so unfortunately he couldn't be on. But that would have been great having him on, because he boxed Blackwell and Eubank. But hopefully we'll get Billy Joe on again in the forthcoming weeks, and we can get his views on it then. But
I think he was trying to make a statement to Billy Joe. Obviously, Billy had boxed Blackwell, and he was trying to, and he was ringside, and there's no love lost there, is there? They don't like each other.
No.
But
what do you think would happen in the rematch?
So I'm one of the very few, and it seems, just by the people I'm talking to, that the majority of people seem to fancy Eubanks the next time. Is how he'll start the fight, how he finished it. I disagree. I mean, I've sparred with Billy. I haven't sparred with Eubanks Jr., granted, but I just feel he's so good, Billy. Though he's not a huge puncher, he just has a knack of winning. And I remember for the first few rounds I was sparring with him, he's got such a good amateur pedigree. You do feel unstuck. Though you're not getting hurt with punches, you don't know where they're coming from. He's quick. He's good angles. And I just think in reverse to what people are saying, I think he'll finish the fight stronger. He'll get himself in better shape, and he won't switch off. I think he'll win the first six rounds again, and he'll probably nick a couple of the last rounds. I don't think it would be as nervy as the first fight.
Well, I think that was the argument last time, that I think it was Eubank Senior sort of took over the first fight, and Eubank Junior was pissing about for the first 5 rounds, and that effectively cost him the fight. He had a big finish, and the argument is, but that's a fight we'd all love to see, and hopefully we'll see that very soon as well.
Oh, what's this? That's very true. There are more injured in football. What was I to say? Do you think, just quickly, I've got a question for you. Do you think that will affect Eubanks Jr. in any way, moving on in future fights? Do you think that will affect him, worrying about doing that to someone again?
It's a difficult one to say, because you don't know how each individual thinks. I mean, it's like, until put in that situation, it's easy for us all to say, no, it won't affect him. He's arrogant. He's this, he's that. But we don't really know what goes on inside people. Now, if he's anything like his dad, then it will affect him, because it affected his dad, and there's no two ways about that. Because his dad, after them fights that happened, we saw his dad having other fighters in trouble on numerous occasions and backing off. And do you know what I mean? So if he's anything like his dad, then it will affect him. And I think it can affect it. It'll affect every fighter. I mean, that's got to be a difficult thing to deal with.
It's got to be. And I mean, I think I'm speaking for most fighters here. And if there isn't, lots of fighters who are probably watching this now and loads that aren't. I never once thought about the damage I could do an opponent. And I never once thought about the damage that could be done to me.
Yeah.
You just don't think about it, do you?
I think once you think about that, then it's time to get out of the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's not something that you think of. Because obviously we all go in there to do a job. You get the job done, and you want to shake the geezer's hand, have a cuddle, and have a beer afterwards or whatever. But you don't go in there intentionally. Even forget all the shit talk that you had before, because that is all just shit talk. Because at the end of it, if one man gets in the ring and you're both standing there and you're trading blows and whatnot, you've got the ultimate respect about the man, and that's all just a big build-up. And there might be a little bit of what you think is genuine need, but at the end of it all, you know yourself just commend each other and done. So yeah, no. But if you're thinking about that, Dale, I think that it's time to get out of the game.
But I think the way boxing and is handling and the fraternity, the boxing fraternity, the word gets used a lot. I think we're handling the situation well, aren't we? You know, it's been dealt with well, and I think there's been a lot of support for Nick Blackwell. I mean, moving on now, let's go back to his glove just before I forget. So if anyone missed the start of the show, we had Joe Cole on last week, and I forgot to get an England shirt, so we got a glove signed by Joe Cole. If you want a chance to win this, all you got to do is answer a simple question, and that is how many appearances did Joe Cole have for England? How many caps did he have for England? We will pick someone who guesses correctly, or Googles it, or Wikipedia's it, wherever, and then you'll get the glove. But Spencer, what else has been happening?
Yeah, well. That was the sad news that happened last week, and as you rightly said, we our thoughts and prayers are with Nick, and we I hope he knows a true fighter, and we hope he makes a full recovery, and we're sure he will. But the rest of the week, I mean, it was a massive weekend of boxing. We had Kell Brook boxing. He looked sensational again, winning inside 2 rounds against Bezier. There's a big lot of criticism going on for Kell Brook, because that was, people got to understand, is that was his mandatory defence. He had to do it or they'd strip him of the title. I mean, there's some big names out there for Kell. Just looking through the ratings here, we've got Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, Amir Khan, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. All those names, any one of those names.
He's in the most lucrative division in world boxing, isn't he?
Without a doubt. And we want to see him in with those names now. I mean, he's got his mandatory out of the way. They're the fights we need to see, and I think we know, because I mean, we was with Kell just a couple of months ago, and he was talking about craving those big fights. He didn't want that fight that happened on Saturday night, did he?
No,
he wants the big ones.
The thing with Kell is, I mean, he was calling out Khan. He wanted the Khan fight desperately, and that didn't happen. I mean, the thing with Kell is, I mean, Khan's been around a long time now, and he's been fighting top marquee names in boxing, so he's got that name. Kell Brook hasn't yet, so he needs to keep hold of that world title. He needs something that other fighters want.
He needs to.
The Khan fight didn't happen, so the next thing for him was he had to make it mandatory. Otherwise, he's going to get stripped of the title, and he's just another man in the welterweight division. And if you're honest, he's one of them who needs him. Yeah. He whacks, he's awkward, he's everything. But now he's got a title, so he's made that defence in good manner, which it was overshadowed, really. I mean, because of what happened, rightly so, it was overshadowed. But I mean, now he's got to move on. Like we say, he's in that lucrative division.
Obviously, I've just seen a question down there who says, who's the best in the division? And that's a real good one, because they're the names I just called out there, just looking down the list of the top 10. I mean, you've got Robert Guerrero in at number 10. Now, he can fight. Yeah, but he can fight.
Peterson.
Jesse Vargas and Lamont Peterson, 9 and 8. I mean, it is without a doubt the toughest division.
Is that What is Amir Khan still a welterweight? What is he? Is he now a middleweight or slash light middle? I mean, there's a catch.
Well, listen, if he loses,
for me, I'm a Brook fan. I think he'll take some beating.
I do not.
You know, I think that dodgy fight he had against Carson Jones, where he'd done everything wrong, has taught him so much, and he's learnt bundles from that. Yeah. And I just think he's got that real awkward Brendan Ingle style, hasn't he? And I think he'll take some beating. But some of the names, I mean, Manny Pacquiao, I mean, he's in the twilight end of his career.
Do you think Pacquiao beats Bradley?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? It's a tough one. I mean, I think that if I ask that question, this is my answer. If I asked that question 2-3 years ago, I'd say you'd go Pacquiao all day long, but you just don't know. I think Pacquiao's at the end of the road, and I think
his life outside of boxing.
Absolutely,
he's a deeply religious man. He's got the whole, he's basically the king of the Philippines, isn't he? You know, he's doing all the political work and whatever. So I don't know, maybe outside life, maybe
taking the edge off him.
Okay, he's a multi-millionaire, and he's had that big fight which he didn't win. So what else we got here? Right? Okay. What about What about Kell Brook versus Liam Smith at light middleweight? His name doesn't seem to get mentioned, but he has a WBO belt. I think Liam, he does, because Callum.
It's the one that's getting all the recognition.
Liam's not on Sky Sports is one of the things. You know, he's not on Sky Sports. 100%. 100%. I mean, Liam's classy. Liam's one of them. He gets on with his business. He's sort of he's a workhorse.
If you ask the brothers, they all say that Liam's the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
interestingly, they all say that
his CV he says so.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the world champion.
And the answer to that is, I think Kell Brook would be unbelievable at light middleweight, because there's no secret that Kell Brook struggles to make welterweight, and he's huge.
By the way, we got him on the show next week. Kell's on the show. We was hoping to get him on this week, but he's jetted off on holiday, rightly so. He deserves it.
I think he's quite selfish.
He's put the live show first. But he's promised us he's going to come on next week, so you'll be able to ask all your questions to Kell, who he'd like to fight, what fights he wants, and what his ambitions and his aspirations are as a world champion. And I'm no doubt, going back to that question, he will definitely move up, won't he?
He's got to.
And one of the reasons being, not because he is a very good fighter, and he has the ability to be a two-weight world champion. But the weight hurts him, doesn't it? You know, the weight really does.
Absolutely.
Do him in.
Absolutely. But let's ask anybody if they want to request a chat, if they want to come up live. We haven't mentioned this tonight, really. If you want to come up live and have a little chat with us face to face. I know. He's so slow doing that. I'm about to do it. You have a chat with us face to face. Press the request button up on your top right-hand corner. Get up, let's have a chat, let's see your face. It's great asking you questions when you're writing in there, but don't be shy, let's get up there. And
I'd love to see you up here, Ali. You ask bundles of questions, type bundles of questions, but we're yet to see you yet, mate. But we appreciate your support and you tuning in every week. Right, why don't you get Liam Smith on the live show? Well, we can do. We will do. We keep the caliber of guests high on the show, don't we?
Yeah.
And he's a world champion. So
it's someone that we will definitely be getting on in the near future. I mean, we're only going for the top names on this show, and Liam Smith's going to be one, especially if these things start getting mentioned about Kell Brook and Liam Smith.
Of course, I mean, it'd be perfect. Yeah. What about another name we wouldn't mind getting on here, also boxing the weekends, Andre Ward?
Yeah, what an amazing talent. I mean, he's been plagued with inactivity.
One of the most frustrating fighters.
Yeah.
Because you want to see him all the time, don't you? You want to see him against a big name.
He's so good.
But you just can't.
It's the politics outside the ring that's causing problem. Managerial contracts and whatnot has kept him sort of sidelined and out.
Injuries, isn't he?
Yeah, and we all remember how good he is. I mean, what he done to Cole Froch was just unbelievable. We know how great Froch was, but Andre Ward was unbelievable at the weekend against Barrera and won a wide unanimous decision, and what a performance he was. And what about, let's move on to Shannon Briggs. I mean, this geezer is
desperate for a fight. He's either desperate for a fight or he's desperate for a pound note. It's one of the two.
So Shannon Briggs is a heavyweight who boxed way back when. He boxed Lennox Lewis in early 2000s. He's a great heavyweight who's been around for so long, kept himself in great nick, but just keeps turning up on people's doorsteps, banging on the door, demanding fights. Now, he'd done that with David Haye, banging on David Haye's door, demanding fight, challenged Anthony Joshua. And I was telling you about this earlier, wasn't I? So what he'd done once, and this is a true story, Vladimir Klitschko was out surfing somewhere in the middle of wherever he was. And he got on a speedboat, circled Vladimir Klitschko and pulled him off the surfboard. And it weren't no stunt. I think you can get this on YouTube. And he pulled him off the surfboard. Klitschko was going bananas, doing his nut, and he's going, "Give me a fight, champ, give me a fight." It's just the most hilarious thing. But just the reason I tell you that story is just telling you how nuts Shannon Briggs is. But do you think he's going to get a fight with any of our British heavyweights?
I think he will, because he'll sell the show. He'll sell the show. And I was saying to you as well when I off air there that if Joshua was to come through the Martin fight, I don't know where he's ranked in the IBF, but I'm pretty sure Joshua's allowed a couple of volunteers.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, you could see that, couldn't you? I mean, Shannon Briggs, it would bang out the O2. I mean, one thing I will say about him, he's 44 years old, Shannon Briggs. There can't be a better in shape 44-year-old.
No, he's unreal.
I mean, I don't know if
he can fight as
this
well.
might be a bit controversial me saying this, just because of the stories that have been happening and the people getting caught. I don't know if it's all natural, but if it is, that is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean, he's in
shape.
serious shape.
I think he is, mate. I just think he keeps himself in unbelievable nick.
Let's go, champ.
Yeah, let's go, champ. Come on, champ. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him in a fight over on these shores. I'd just love it against either Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, David Haye, any one of those.
They all beat him, though, don't they?
They all beat him, without a doubt. They all beat him, but he will put up a great fight, and the build-up would be absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But
just someone here, Addy Spratt again. Tony Bellew has a WBC Cruiserweight World title shot. Can he win it?
I don't know. It's a tough fight. Tough fight. He's boxing a guy that's...
He's an African, I think.
African, yeah. I don't even want to pronounce his name without someone telling me how to say it. But he's like... I think he's won 19, lost 1 with 18 knockouts or something like that. Proper heavy-handed. Can Bellew win it? I'd like to say yeah, because he deserves a title, Bellew. He's been around for such a long time. Credit to the sport. He's put in a lot of hard graft, and I'd like to say, yeah, Tony Bellew could win that. Listen, when you box for world titles, you don't get it easy.
No.
You don't get easy fights. So, yeah, I'd like to say, yeah, he could win a world title.
I fancy he will.
Yeah, I'd love him to do it. Love him to do it.
Right, this week's actions coming up. So there's a big show in Liverpool, isn't there? Callum Smith fighting Mohammadi.
It's
just a WBC final eliminator. Did you see one of the other Smiths?
Well, do you know what? I think that Callum, we've talked about that saying, he's probably the best prospect in the country. Maybe him and Joshua are definitely the best prospects in the country. Callum Smith just keeps pulling out the victories. And Mohammadi, people might remember him. He lost to James DeGale. DeGale beat him on points. DeGale also quotes that Mohammadi is very tough, and he thinks that he might take Smith all the way. So if
he's
Smith,
never been stopped, has he?
No, he's never been stopped. And I think if Smith does a job inside the distance, he's made a massive statement. And do you know what? I think he might. Mohammadi, he comes in quite square on. You do that against someone like Smith, and you're gonna get taken out. Smith's a phenomenal body puncher. He'll be looking to make a statement. There's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, though, Smith, because he knows how much this is for, and it's for the I think it's for the vacant European as well.
Oh, is it?
I think Mohammadi is the European.
Oh, the European champion, yeah.
And so it's for the WBC final eliminator and the European title. So big chance for Callum Smith. We're praying that he does it, because I mean we're looking forward to some massive fights in the future. And then moving on to tomorrow night, Ashley Fairfane we've got.
Yeah, so Ashley Fairfane. I didn't know that was tomorrow. I was assuming that was Saturday.
Yeah.
He's fighting about billions. Broner. I can't stand him. I think he's everything wrong with some of the idiots in boxing. He's just an arrogant idiot. I'm not a fan of him. I think he's a very good boxer. I remember watching when he beat Gavin Reeves, thinking what a talent, but I just can't stand the geezer. I think he's an idiot. I really, really do, and he's just nuts. I think I read something today about Mayweather even taking the piss out of him, saying he's Mayweather. He's a joker. He's not pay-per-view. He's just
And they used to be best mates, them two.
Yeah. He's just an idiot, and I've known Fairfane for years, as you have. He's been around. It seems like he's been around. I think he's older than you, isn't he?
Believe it or not, I think he's only in his early 30s. I think he must have been boxing pro since he was about 6.
6126. We have Broner on the live show. No, if Spencer Vance is doing it on his own, then he could be a co-host for the night. But I won't be.
I can handle most things, but I can't handle him. I mean, I've got to sit next to Mr. DB every week. That's hard enough. Let alone getting Adrian Broner on the show.
But Fairfane quickly. He's shown how dedicated to the sport he is and how much he wants to win the world title. He's moved to Vegas. He's lived out there, and it can't be hard in them American gyms of sparring, and he's actually sparred with Mayweather. So I wish him all the luck.
Can he do it?
I'm looking at the records, and from what I've seen of the two of them, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, so
if I'm honest, he doesn't really have a chance. The only chance is, Broner doesn't live the life, it seems. From what I see on social media, he goes out and he's, like I say, brash. He's an idiot.
He's an odd shape, man. I've got to bring this up because I said it when we was having a little look at him earlier on in his training camp. He's like really short. I'm short, right? I'm sure he's shorter than me, the geezer, but he's as wide as he is tall. He's just got this really peculiar shape, which must make him really like unorthodox when you're boxing. Very, very difficult to box. But yeah, got a peculiar shape. I don't know why I had to bring that up, but I felt I just needed to get it out there. But can Fearfame win? We would love to say yeah, but I don't think.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to put a bet on Fearfame because I bet you get good odds, and you know, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put money on Fearfame, though I don't think he will, but I think you'll get good odds. But
so that's like saying go and give some money away because you get
pretty much. You just in boxing, you never know. One punch. He's not a punch of Fearfame. I don't really give him a chance, but I don't. You know, I'm not a gambler either. That's probably why. But I like winning money, so I'll put a few quid on him. I'll put 2 quid on him. What was I say? So then the following week, I mean, we'll talk about this more. We've got Joshua Martin. That is a huge show. We'll have Carl Brook talking about that as well.
And we've got young Conor Benn who's making his debut as well. Who's
his dad's name again? I forget. He's got a famous dad.
Nigel, is it Nigel?
That's it.
Nigel Benn. So Nigel Benn's son is making his debut in April as well. Listen, we've seen him in the gym. That kid can fight, man.
He can.
He can fight. I mean, he's like his dad. He's raw. He's heavy-handed. He's very fiery. But I think he's going to be a good addition to the pro ranks. You know.
I do. He's with my old coach Tony Sims, who's a brilliant trainer, and he has a way of getting the best out of fighters, which is important when you've got a young kid like that. And I'll tell you one thing. He's from a privileged background, Conor. You know, he lived a lovely life in Spain, in Tenerife. Then they moved to Australia, Sydney. Yeah. He lived a lovely life. But when I see him on Sky Sports News the other day, he just says it's in him. He wants to do it. Yeah. And when you watch him in the gym, he's ferocious. Yeah, he punches hard. He doesn't, you know, when I've seen him take a shot in sparring, usually with them sort of rich kids, or I'm just saying rich kid, but the privileged kids who don't need to box, they usually take a back step, or you think, oh, hold on a minute, I don't really fancy this. Yeah. It revs him up a little bit.
Gets involved. He fights like a kid who comes from the slums in Colombia or something.
He fights like his dad, who had to fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? He fights like that, and I mean, don't get me wrong. He's got a lot to learn. He's very he's quite reckless, but who isn't at that age? And I'll tell you one thing: what a debut! What show to be having your debut? Oh, I mean,
unreal. Can't wait. But we've come.
Oh, hold on. No, Joe, I'm gonna do it. Spencer doesn't know this is happening, but because we haven't got a guest, we've let down a couple of times. But in all fairness, I think Spencer, with what's gone on with Blackwell and that, if it was another show and the demand Spencer's had for other shows, I think we've got the correct person here to speak about what's gone on. But what I do every week with a guest is I do the quick fire round. So, as he's basically he's presenter come guest, I'm gonna do Spencer with a quick fire.
Please. I feel under pressure. My hands are sweaty now.
Right. You know these. Right,
yeah, I know them well.
Right. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl, definitely.
Dancing or singing?
Dancing.
Wine or beer?
Both.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Harry the Pope. Beard or clean shaven?
Clean shaven.
Fruit or veg?
Ooh. Veg.
You don't eat any of them, by the way. Money or fame?
What, right now? Money.
World title or 5 mil?
5 mil.
Cool or text?
Definitely cool.
Yeah, you're cooler, aren't you? White bread or brown bread?
Definitely white.
Blonde or brunette?
Definitely brunette.
Ferrari or Lambo?
Definitely Lambo.
Christmas or birthday?
Oh, Christmas.
Yeah. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Fries or chips?
Chips.
Good. Boobs or ass?
Boobs.
Looks or personality?
Both.
That stumps everyone. Right, window or aisle seat?
Oh, window.
He likes my shoulder. He has the window and he goes both ways. He has my shoulder. Well done, Spen. He's done it.
I'll have you back for that. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Something's going to happen. I'll get you back for it. But yeah, listen, great show tonight. Really enjoyed that. Lot of insight going on.
Show, wasn't it?
Really serious show. And we said it at the beginning of the show and we say it at the end as well. Our thoughts and prayers really are with Nick Blackwell. And we know he's going to make a full recovery. And when he does, you're going to get him right on here on the live shows, and that's something we're going to do as soon as he's back on his feet. So really looking forward to that, mate. And that brings us really to the end of the show, Dal. Who's won the glove?
Well, we had one answer. We've had one answer. It wasn't like other weeks where we just pick someone. So Ali Spratt, who, to be fair, you deserve it. You always get involved. Ali, do you do me a favour? The live show at yahoo.com. Send me your address. We'll ping this out to you. You're probably getting a collection by now.
So make sure you send your address,
it, mate.
Ali, and you deserve that one. I love you coming on the show every week. Ask great questions. It's been really, really cool speaking all boxing talk, really. It's been great. And
so next week with Kel Brook, and we're going to Sheffield. Kel's in. He's gone on holiday, but he's definitely coming in. So I mean, tell everyone about that. I mean, you can come on. You can ask Kel, who's one of the biggest names in world boxing. What's going on in that division? Being a world champion in the welterweight division. Get involved. We're gonna have a signed glove and numerous bits by Kel. We're even gonna try and get some tickets for fights coming up. I mean, we may be pushing. I don't want to make any promises, but for the Joshua fight. But if not, definitely the shows after.
We can get all our previous shows. If you haven't missed them, we've got some blinding shows on our archives. They're all there. They're staying there. So if you've just seen this for the first time tonight, or you want to tell people about the show, you can get them all on the archives. Get on there, look at those. Got some great shows on there, and we've got some great guests coming up in the future. Follow us on Twitter at the live shows. And that's about it, mate. I think this is the end of a good show, mate.
42 minutes. I don't know where that's gone, mate. That's gone quick. I mean, usually you drive me nuts, and I can't wait to get away with you after 4 minutes. But
right, on that note, well, it's been a great show, Dal. Good, great week as always, and looking forward to next week. So
thank you, Spen, as well for opening up with. I know it can't be easy you talking about it and that, but still, thank you for being so honest and answering the questions that I'm sure all the viewers are interested in hearing.
That's it. All right, cool. Well, listen, every Thursday, 8 p.m.
Bromance.
Every Thursday, 8 p.m. You can get the live shows. Make sure you tune in. Tell your friends about it. But for myself, Spencer Oliver,
me, Darren Barker,
this is the live shows.